And Gary Price is back to help us understand some important differences between Medicaid planning and estate planning. It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
It has been. Good to see you.
Good to be back. Good to be with you. So, we talk about this, kind of walk us through what is estate planning and then Medicaid planning.
Well, there are certainly differences. And the concern I have is, on this subject, is that people do the estate plan. They meet with an attorney and they go through the estate planning process. They do a will or they do a trust. They do the directives, the power of attorney, the health care appointment, those things. That's what you associate with estate planning. It's an entirely different conversation when you're talking about Medicaid planning, because estate planning primarily, with your will, it's the discussion of what do you want to have happen with your stuff once you pass. Whereas with Medicaid planning, it's all about discussing how can I preserve my stuff in the event I have to apply for Medicaid. So the concern is that a lot of people do that estate planning and they think they're set. And they did not have that conversation regarding Medicaid planning, and they need to make sure, if that's a concern, they need to make sure they have that conversation as well.
Well, and I've talked about this before, but it's important to kind of rethink that and revisit it, is that we don't expect, we're just not thinking of ourselves in those terms, that I'm going to need Medicaid, if it's a nursing home care facility. But it's possible for any of us, at any age, really.
It is.
So that's a conversation that needs to be on the table.
Yeah, usually it takes a family member or a close friend or something like that, somebody close, to have to experience the process, and then it gets you thinking anyway. What I don't want people to think, well, I've already done that. I've seen an attorney, I did the estate plan thing, so I must be okay. I'm sure we talked about Medicaid. Not so.
And are there documents that have to be filled out at the time you need it, or in the planning stage? Yeah,
well, there are documents to do. Well, there's not documents to complete, but there are transactions that may be suitable in advance. Maybe not, but let's have the discussion and see.
So, for example, what might be?
An irrevocable trust might be suitable, might be a good thing to do. A lot of times it's not. Doesn't make sense a lot of times, but a lot of other times it does make sense. So, and it all depends upon your estate. What do you own? And let's have that discussion and see if it does make sense or not.
Do you find that when you use those phrases like estate planning, people who say things, well, I don't have it, I've got a little house and maybe a car, and they don't think of that as an estate, because we think of an estate as something grand. Language matters, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it took them their entire life to accumulate whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
And it's important to them just as it would be important to someone who accumulated more. That's important to them. So, you look at it the same way, and it doesn't matter what the size of the house is. It doesn't matter what the size of the bank account is. If you have wishes for that home to go to your kids, whatever, you have wishes for that money to go to your kids, whatever, you need to express that.
So how do they make an appointment to have that first meeting with you, Gary?
Well, first call my office and get a copy of this book.
Get the book.
812-475-8444. In the book is a coupon, free consultation for that initial discussion.
Thank you, Gary. It's always good to see you.
All right.
More